Hey folks, here in Idaho, and that's the Snake River, and this is Steve Carroll, Snake River Manufacturing. What did we just do the last couple hours here?
Last couple hours we wrapped up this trailer build. We're bringing it down to Swan Falls, putting it through its paces. It's got some really rough roads and some beautiful scenery.
So I was thinking it's a good opportunity to just walk through what is standard with this trailer. It's a double, and
sure.
What this customer ordered beyond what is standard.
Sure, absolutely. So on this option we have our DZ mounting box. Now this is a gear case that it's 35 inches wide, it's 14 inches wide, and it's 13 inches high. It's got padlockable handles up here. The hinge will come back. But the cool thing about it is the platform that it's sitting on is very universal. So we really can put any kind of box on here that we want. These bow stops are pretty neat because what makes them unique is we have side-to-side translation for fine tuning. But if you look under here, we also have the ability to translate forward and back. So you can position the bow stop in the most ideal situation for your particular boat setup. So this is something that's also pretty unique. This is the Enduro spare tire mount. Now the Enduro comes from the word endurance. This particular spare tire mount is not any typical spare tire mount. What it has in it is a spare hub and bearing assembly, so that if you ever spin a bearing or lose a hub, something like that happens on the road 1,000 miles away, you have the spare equipment necessary to perform a field replacement. What's also unique about the spare tire mount is on the back side. Let's go take a look. On the back side of the Enduro mount, we have provisions for a Moly mounting panel. Now this is going to be recessed roughly 4.5 inches beyond this face of the frame, which gives you ample room to put a toolbox. You can have it live on the trailer right here in the tongue, place that you don't normally need to access very often, but all the onboard tools that you would need for, say, Allen wrenches or doing a spare hub, spare bearing replacement, you can mount it confidently right here on this Moly panel. So what we've got here is we've just got a Jackson that we've thrown up here. We haven't adjusted the rock and rollers. We're going to talk about the rock and rollers here. So what these guys are is they are a way for you to support the hull in multiple points, right? Not just the rails, but also 4 additional points. And what that does is it prevents the boat from wanting to rock and roll around on the rails. Now, most boats don't have that problem. There's a couple of native brands or native models that do. They don't sit very nicely on rails. So this is a very elegant solution for that particular brand. Now, they also give you an incredible ability to, with minimal effort, pull the kayak off of the trailer. So when we adjust these rock and rollers so that they're in contact with the bottom of the hull, it's going to do a couple things for you. It's going to stabilize the hull even further, but it's also going to make it extremely easy to pull a fully loaded kayak off of the trailer. You're no longer yanking, but rather smoothly pulling. So it's the end of the day, it's getting close to dusk. We're frequently loading and unloading in the middle of the night or close to dusk, which is where we're at right now. We have these optional rigging lights, and you can turn those on with one switch that'll illuminate both sides, and you can pivot these lights to the ideal situation to light up your hull. So we have a nice option to get to the top water boxes or the rod lockers or gear lockers that sit up on top. We've got this integrated step where you can hop on and easily get to your rod boxes and pull your rods and reels out of that box and step down. Now this is the optional diamond plate accessory step pad. We also have additional step pads, EVA foam and rubberized formats, and those are going to be K-Miss products. They're amazing. They have an incredible adhesive on the back. They will never lift. So what we have right here is this is the bulletproof fender systems. Now this system is going to be a direct replacement for any plastic fender that you have. And we developed these fenders to replace the plastic so that the problems with the plastic that we've seen are eliminated. Plastic fenders will fade, they'll get scratched, and worst of all, they'll crack, they'll splinter, or completely shatter altogether. These will never do that. You can walk on these, no problem. And moving on from the bulletproof fender systems, we're going to talk about our wheel options. So this is an aluminum wheel option. These are 13-inch rims. So you have a 24-inch OD tire. 5 on 4.5 is standard for all of our lug patterns. What's really cool about our systems is we make preventative maintenance easy. This cap that is included has a center cap. You pull this away, and behind here is the rubber plug. You pull that out to get to the grease zert fitting. That's an easy lube spindle, so you hook up a grease gun to it, fill it with grease until you see clean grease come out. And what that's going to do is going to purge all of the old grease and potential contaminants that were entrained through the system. It's not going to put new grease on top of old grease. It's going to purge all the old grease and contaminants out. So you don't have to unmount the tire to do preventative maintenance. We believe that if preventative maintenance is made difficult, preventative maintenance doesn't get done. So what we're looking at here is we're going to take a close look at the finish on our trailers. Now this is a textured finish, and it's incredibly important on why we chose a textured finish versus a gloss finish. We will sandblast our frames to a bright white finish, and then we powder coat it with a zinc-based primer for a primer coat. We pull it out of the oven, we texture it, or we hit it with a top coat. It's a hammered texture finish with built-in UV resistant properties, and that hammered nature, if you ever get a rock chip, you'll never see it. It just essentially fades into the finish, and because of the primer, it'll never propagate. You'll never see a chip in the paint propagate further on. That primer does a great job of preventing that. So as we design these kayak trailers, it's important to note that we design them to fit in most garages. Most garages are going to be 25 feet wide, so having the ability to collapse the length of the trailer so that it fits more easily into your garage was extremely important. Hence, we have the fold-away tongue. This will fold 3 feet away, reducing the overall length of the trailer by 3 feet. This particular model is right at 20 feet, so that gives you about 17 feet from end of the trailer to the front leading edge of this fold-away tongue. One of the other things that's pretty nice about our systems is what comes standard are these plug keepers. So no longer do you have to have your plug sitting just down on the ground. What you do is you take this plug, and it has a home that lives on the trailer. Now it's going to be safe and secure. No water, no snow, no dirt is going to get into those terminal points.
So Steve, tell me a little bit about the history of Snake River manufacturing and why you started making trailers.
Well, I started making trailers because we fish some pretty wild rivers, right? The Snake River being one of them. As you can see, we're in a pretty remote area, and getting out here is pretty difficult, challenging at best, right? So we needed to develop a trailer system that could handle the rigors, that could handle the wilderness in Idaho. So being in Idaho, we're essentially spoiled with having the ability to catch America's largest freshwater fish, the white sturgeon. And that swims in the very river right behind us. A couple of years ago, we had the incredible opportunity to hook into an absolute monster. And that is one of the biggest passions in my life, is kayak sturgeon fishing. And having the tools to get out here confidently into some of the most rugged areas required me to have a trailer system that would stand up to the road abuse and to stand up to everything that we were launching our trailer systems in. So this particular trailer is 20 feet long, just over 80 inches wide, and comes in right at 782 pounds. For more information on this specific trailer, visit us at snakerivermanufacturing.us and Snake River Manufacturing on Instagram and Facebook. So another really cool option that this particular customer chose is the Underglow light kit. You can control it with an app on your phone or a remote control in the cab. Here you can select different color options, and you can select different pulsating modes. This is a heartbeat mode, red pulsating. One of my favorites is the red and blue, looks like a cop car. But you can also sync it to music. So here we've selected rainbow pulsating mode. We can also vary the intensity of how fast or how slow that pulsates.
All right, we're about out of daylight. We kind of rushed to get this done. You know, come over here in this pretty place here along the Snake River to film this. But I get on the road tomorrow, and I'm actually getting ready to show this trailer to some of our potential dealers. We're looking to build a nationwide dealer network, so it's not just something that people here local in the Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Northern California area can just come pick one up. We want to make sure that wherever you are in the lower 48, that you can get one of these.
Follow us on YouTube at Snake River Manufacturing. There you're going to learn our manufacturing process and the additional engineering steps that we take to ensure a consistent quality ride. We're building a trailer and a trailer system so that you're not going to be stranded on the side of the road, and that is the Snake River difference.